Today, we're looking into a phrase, well, a number really, that you've almost definitely heard. 420.
Hmm.
Whether you partake or not, it's everywhere. And we're going to uncover its surprisingly accidental origin. Forget the police codes, forget Hitler's birthday.
Yeah, those myths are persistent.
Right. This story actually starts with 5 high school kids.
It's pretty fascinating, isn't it, how something so small, just a local thing, can bloom into this huge cultural symbol worldwide.
Exactly.
This dive really shows that unexpected journey from, a tiny seed to this global phenomenon.
Okay, so let's rewind. We're talking 1971 San Rafael High School in California.
Right.
And there are these 5 teens, Steve, Dave, Jeff, Mark, and Larry. They call themselves the Waldos.
Yeah, apparently because they used to hang out by this specific wall on campus.
Huh, okay. So the Waldos get wind of this rumor, like a treasure map situation.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Less map, more a whispered legend about an abandoned cannabis patch out near Point Reyes. Someone they knew had planted it and couldn't tend it anymore.
Ah, okay, so they decide to go looking for it.
Exactly. And they needed a meeting time, a rendezvous point. They picked 4:20 p.m., right after sports practice, by the Louis Pasteur statue on campus.
4:20 p.m.
Got it.
And to keep the whole thing secret, from teachers, rivals, whoever,
Right.
they came up with this code.
Which was?
420 Louis, meaning let's meet at the Louis statue at 4:20 to go search.
Okay, 420 Louis. But here's the kicker, right? They never found the weed.
Never found it. They searched multiple times, apparently. But the hunt itself wasn't the lasting part. The code was 420 just stuck as their shorthand for anything cannabis related.
Just their little inside joke. So how does that go global? That seems like a huge leap.
Well, it's connections, really. Classic word of mouth, but with a twist. Dave Waldo's older brother, he managed some side projects for Phil Lesh.
The basis for the Grateful Dead.
The very same. So the Waldos would hang out backstage sometimes, maybe smoke, using their code 420. And, well, the Grateful Dead scene, it was its own traveling community.
The Deadheads. Exactly. By the mid-'70s, you start hearing whispers of 420 in those circles, backstage, on tour. The band traveled constantly, and this little piece of slang just traveled with them, spreading through the counterculture.
Wow. So, like a pre-internet viral spread?
Pretty much. Totally
Yeah.
organic, moving through this dedicated traveling fan base.
Okay, so the Dead spread it through the counterculture, but what pushed it over the edge made it the cannabis number and date.
Ah, that's where High Times magazine comes in, but kind of accidentally. It's 1991.
Right.
Someone from the magazine gets handed a flyer at a Grateful Dead show in Oakland. And this flyer says something like, "Meet up to smoke 420 on 420 at Bolinas Ridge."
Just an invitation for people to gather and smoke at 4:20 p.m. on April 20th.
Exactly. Seems straightforward. But when High Times printed a story about this flyer,
They made a mistake.
big one, they reported that 420 was police radio code for marijuana smoking in progress.
Whoa. Okay, so that's where that myth came from.
That's the one. And because High Times was, the cannabis publication, that explanation just stuck. It basically cemented 4.2 as the time and April 20th as the unofficial holiday, all based on a misunderstanding.
Incredible. And that explains why people still argue about it being police code or California Penal Code 420.
Yeah, let's bust those myths quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Penal Code 420 in California, it's about trespassing on public land, nothing to do with weed.
Okay.
Vegas Police Code 420, that's apparently for homicide. Way off.
Definitely not it.
Bob Dylan's Rainy Day Women, hashtag 12 and 35. People multiply 12 by 35.
Yeah.
It makes 420. But that's just coincidence, totally unrelated numerology.
And Hitler's birthday being April 20th.
Pure unfortunate coincidence, zero connection. The real proof points straight back to the Waldos.
Because they kept records, right?
They did. They had letters from the early 70s mentioning 420, postmarked and everything. They had the treasure map, or at least a copy of it. And crucially, a 1971 San Rafael High yearbook page that has a little nod to their 420 activities.
Wow. So they could actually prove it.
Irrefutably. And High Times, to their credit, eventually investigated and published the true story in 1998, finally giving the Waldos the credit.
So fast forward to the 2000s. This code is out. It's not secret anymore.
Not at all. It transforms. April 20th, 420 becomes this massive public event. Think huge gatherings in places like Denver, San Francisco, even London.
Right, like part celebration, part protest.
Exactly. It became a mix of things.
Well,
A holiday for enthusiasts, a day of activism pushing for legalization, and yeah, increasingly a big sales day for dispensaries now.
and didn't California kind of lean into the joke?
Oh, definitely. The ultimate wink, maybe. In 2003, California passed its medical cannabis regulation bill,
Let me guess.
Senate Bill 420, a direct intentional nod to the stoner code that started it all.
That's amazing. So today, 420 is just,
Yeah.
it's the global shorthand. It's the culture's call sign.
It absolutely is. From 5 kids looking for a mythical pot patch to a worldwide symbol.
It really is an incredible journey, just thinking about how this high school joke, through word of mouth, a band's following, and then a magazine's mistake, became this massive cultural marker. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It truly is. And it makes you think, doesn't it? About how culture actually forms. The power of these little grassroots things, maybe accidental fame, and how symbols can just bubble up from unexpected places and end up shaping traditions, even laws.
Yeah, it definitely makes you wonder, what other common words or symbols that we use every day have these kinds of hidden, maybe even accidental histories behind them? Something to think about.